I just wanna tell the truth. I just gotta get it on my chest, or else I'ma really be depressed. Looking like a fool in front of you. Don't give me those eyes. I just wanna tell the truth. I just gotta get it on my chest.
What is up, you guys? We are finally back with actual content, and this is Ruby Amethyst versus Sapphire Steel. I want to say this is probably a 50-50 matchup. If not, the Ruby Amethyst probably favored a little bit because of the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's more consistent, and for Sapphire Steel, I feel like you have to draw specific cards like Shmi or RGs or Zeus or Fishbone Quill as well, and like any kind of ramp, you need to just start off with those. Maybe a cannon, maybe a baboom to stop the Flynn Rider from questing early. Uh, Aside from that, I feel like you're in a good spot. So right now we're gonna be reviewing game one. I'm gonna be piloting Sapphire Steel. I'm gonna be on the right side right here, and we're gonna break this down together. Personally, I feel like there's more value in walking you through like my thought process of on how like I play the game, on why I decide to do things, or why I ink this card, why I don't ink in certain scenarios, why I play this card, and why I just one over the other. By the way, we don't mulligan for each other like against like a certain matchups. These are game one scenarios. If I say game one, it's actually game one. Like we actually doing game one scenarios, and in game two, obviously we know who we're playing against, but we're gonna go for the mulligan. We're gonna start off here. So I have an inkable. So I have two uninkables, right? And Cogsworth. So the thing here is like I have Shmi, which I will always keep. I have Hiram, which I was also I would always keep Hiram as well. If I have any type of like ramp here, like Mickey Mouse or Fishbone Quill, I'd probably keep it and Cogsworth. But since I don't have it, I'm just gonna uh put all the Cogsworth away. Zeus is vital to a lot of like matchups, but you don't need to see it until later. Same thing with Ariel, obviously, and Tinker. But I try to keep a 5 that would potentially sing a whole new world. I want to say specifically Cogsworth. Um, I want to keep Flavisham, but I only keep Cogsworth if I have a guaranteed ramp on my starting hand. But if I don't have a guaranteed ramp on my starting hand, I mull him away. So the only thing that's consistent here that you can play is Hiram and Shmi. I don't have the item, I'm not guaranteed an item, but we play 8 items. So the chances of you finding an item on turn 4, hopefully you get it, right? But yeah, so I'm gonna mull, I'm pretty sure everything else but Shmi and Hiram, so it's pretty good. I think without knowing your matchup, those are just pretty safe, right? It's good against red blue. It's good against Sapphire's mirror match as well because Shmi. It's good against Ruby Amethyst, obviously, and Hiram is also pretty good into green steel, so that you don't have to like look for him. You can just like pop the Diablo and then start drawing with your Hiram. So right here we actually drew Godly. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went first. No, my opponent went first. Okay, so we're against Ruby Amethyst. I think the strategy here, obviously, so it's turn one's whatever. Turn two, we probably ink the item. No, ink Flavisham. Okay, so the reason why, so in this scenario, right, Ruby Amethyst does not have a way to interact with your hand. Like, they don't have an Ursula, they don't have like a bare necessity, they don't have a whole new world, so they can't interact with your hand specifically. So what I try to do here is actually the reason why I inked Hiram because we're not drawing anything. We're curving from 3 to 5, which is a whole new world, not 3 to 6 basically. Because we went second, so we could actually afford to ink before we actually a whole new world. Um, but yeah, the plan here, since we can out Flynn Rider with cannon on 3, right? So the plan here is just to have Shmi on board threatening a lot of things, and then a whole new world and then replenish your hand on turn 4. Yeah, which is your opponent's. Yeah, so that's the reason why I inked Flavisham there. Because from your starting 7, you have a pathway to like what you're gonna do, right? For like, since that's what your hand allows you to do. We're gonna go Fishbone Quill here, and this is why I love Cannon, because you can do stuff like this on turn 3. You don't have to like not play a card just so you can play like a card like Cannon. And here, I mean not Cannon, but Baboom. But Cannon, I play Cannon, and I only play one Gravity Sword for this reason alone, because you can actually like ink a card, and then with Fishbone Quill and then play Cannon afterwards. You don't have to like play Baboom and then the popsicle and then pass. And then next turn Fishbone Quill, just cause just to stop like an aggression. You don't have to do all that stuff. You can just cannon it away. So right here, I'm on 6 ink, right? The reason why I played the popsicle here, there's an actual reason why I played the popsicle here. There is not a card that I could draw from the 7 that I could want to play other than an item, right? So, but I already have an item in hand. So I just played the item and I did not draw, and then I play a whole new world for 5. Hard play it, hard cast it, because you want to play this like on curve. You are on curve, and since you stopped your opponent's aggression already, right? This is turn 5, going 5, and he's still not at like 12, right? Which they usually are. It means that you're in a good spot as a Sapphire Steel player, so you could afford to like play like that, which is why a whole new world is such a busted card, right? Because they can't interact with it. So now here, you are sitting at 8 ink, and you can start playing from here. And again, I drew like super optimally. So right here, I'm thinking. So the first thing that happens as a Sapphire Steel player, the first thing that I do is look at my ink. I look at my ink and how much I could spend this turn, which is 8, right? I'm still at 6 right now, but I can like Fishbone Quill and then ink a card. I'm thinking, what cards can I play to maximize the value of my hand, right? So right here, you can play a 4 and a 4, which is Grammatala and Shmi. No, okay, so you can play Grammatala, Baboom, and Shmi, right? As a 4-2, because your opponent's going to be at 6 ink or turn 6 after this. They can't be prepared you, so it's probably a good play to flood the board like that, because then you're gonna basically unloading your hand so that you could play a whole new world. Let It Go has no value here. Aerial doesn't have a value here yet, because they're about to go to turn 7 anyways. So there is a world where you do okay. So no, there's also a play here. So okay, so Aerial might be a good play, because Aerial can sing a whole new world next turn. So what you want to do here is probably exhaust your just play as much cards, so ink as much, and then obviously with Fishbone Quill and naturally inking, and then play the Aerial. So you are at 8 ink, which means you can also do 6 and 2. So you don't have to do 4, 2, and 2, which is Gamatala, Baboom, and Shmi. You can actually do 6 and 2, which is Aerial and Shmi, because you're gonna sing a whole new world next turn when you get to 10 inks. And then right, because like that's the best thing about this deck too. It's like if you a whole new world into a whole new world, you're such in a good spot. Like I don't care what I'm throwing away. I mean you do, but these are like low value cards. Like Let It Go sucks. The Great Stone Dragon's okay. But boom, outs Chernobog, but like you're such in a good spot. So that is what I do. So I ink. Let It Go and another Fishbone Quill. Okay. So I did play a 6 and a 2. Got it. My bad. Spoiler alert. My bad. My bad. Okay, so it's my opponent's turn. Inks the Fox. Plays Madame Medusa, which is really good for us. They can't really interact with Ariel. This is probably like a good time to like quest with Ariel for 5, but we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep We're looking for dime here, right? That's really what we're looking for. Dime Tamatoa or dime aerial or dime whatever dime play we have. Like I said earlier, the plan is to just like offload your hand and get way more ahead, right? My opponent's at 5, like it's not really threatening anything. You're in a control. You're in such like good control here after your first wheel, because not only did you stop them or slow them down, but you actually are still paying on curve. Was this the best time to like put down the dime? But I played Tinker instead. Oh, because I just didn't want him to like run over the aerial and beaking undisputed would happen anyways. Okay. I guess you're forcing your opponent to beaking. Actually, no. You're not really forcing it. He did everything anyways. Did I just give up like an aerial? I played Tinker so that if someone or like if someone swings into aerial and survives, which is unlikely. No, that was just still not the right play. Or like that's still not the right like thought process. I was thinking like whoever swings to aerial, if they survive, Tinker can just trade back and then like whoever they play afterwards, but they had the beacon undisputed and that was a wrong play for me anyways. But we are ahead here. We also have our one grabber sword. We are sitting at 11 ink. We start off with the great statue of dragon, whatever, first because you don't want to forget it. So we can do 6. I have not Fisherman Quill here yet, right? I haven't inked here either. I just started off with yeah, I started off with that. So we are at 11 because of that. Okay, so realistically we're at 10 ink. We have 10 ink to spare or to use. So we can do we haven't inked twice yet, which is like normally in the Fishbone Quill. So we are supposed to be at, we can spend 12 here. So we can do 6/6 or yeah, 6/6 is the only way. That's weird. So Tinker and Ariel. Uh-huh. There was no B prep, right? Is this another B prep? There's a world where he just like quest here in B prep. Or I just played the aerial so that okay, I played the aerial to play around B King or Tremaine. I get it. And if he has the B prep, he has the B prep. We're still not in the bad spot. Put 2 character on board. I'm quite excited to play Grabber Sword next turn. So I guess like in a way, we are just exhausting our opponent's resources. Okay, we start off with the Great Stone Dragon once again. We draw into RGs, which is pretty good in this matchup in the beginning. We finally established the dime. Since it didn't do anything to our Tinker and Ariel. Like again, like his board's not threatening at all. Like nothing here is threatening. And he didn't like threaten like the first, or he couldn't threaten like the first 4 turns, which is like Ruby Amethyst, whatever version it is right now. That's their like best curve line basically. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything after that is like a slow pace game, trying to get to 20, right? We were such in the control. Like dude, we were so ahead there. Okay, so right here, game 2, I want to see the mulligan, right? And we're only focusing on Sapphire Seal right now. Okay. Now that we know that we're against Ruby Amethyst, we are going first because this is the best of 2 format basically, and that's how we play test nowadays. Because there's no point doing best of 3s, even in set champs, or like even if you're trying to like play test for set champs, it's still I think better to do best of 2s because like your game 3 is game 1 anyways. So right now I'm probably gonna keep the Mickey Mouse here, right? Yeah, keep the Mickey. I don't keep the Zeus, even though I want to. I can't because I am already keeping an uninkable, which is Mickey. Obviously, I keep the popsicle, and I scrape everything else. I'm pretty sure Mickey and popsicle stays here. for the sphere. Eh? Damn, who edited this? Is there two Tamatos there? There's probably no two Tamatos there. Anyways, so we draw into double Hiram, Cogsworth. Cool. Hiram, you're scared. Hiram has like a weakness against Ruby right now because of Brawl. But if they choose to like play Brawl on 3 or Brawl on 4, right? Because you're gonna be playing Hiram, and then your opponent goes to their turn 4 and then brawls to Hiram. I think you're such in a good spot because they didn't do Rabbit or Castle or Goat. Instead, they outed your Hiram that drew you 2 cards already. I feel like that's a really good trade for you. That's like in your favor because they didn't establish board. They just skipped the turn basically because you already drew 2. Like they didn't want you to draw 2 more, but you already got value out of that. So right here, game 2, I think I rewatched this obviously like 800 times already. This cannon should have been used last turn instead of a popsicle because turn 2 he didn't have Flynn Rider, and I was saving for the cannon for Flynn Rider, but the thought was like I don't think my opponent was gonna like off curve Flynn Rider, other than like turn 6 maybe, which is like Rabbit and a Flynn Rider, or like Fox and like Flynn Rider on 5, something like that. An off curve Flynn Rider probably was not a good like choice for my opponent, and like that's what I was playing around. That's why I kept the cannon. So right here, especially right here, I feel like I should just cannon, but I think I still don't do it because I'm greedy. I was like, okay, grab your sword. I can just out the Chernobog's followers later. But my opponent actually like curved out. Okay, it's definitely not optimal. But right now we don't have a way to get rid of Queen's Castle like effectively. We probably kind of have to like 2-swing it basically. So right here, same thing, right? I'm just counting like what can I do? I have 4 and 4. I can do 4 and then 1, which kind of doesn't make sense. Because the count is I have a let it go. I have 3 5 costs basically, and then the Zeus. So I'm not a 9, so I can't do 5 and a 9. I can only do 4 and 4. And 4 and 1's kind of just a waste, right? Because you have 2 open inks that you're not using. You want to maximize on your inks. So I do Zeus. Okay, so yeah, I have to like 2-swing it. See, like I couldn't play cannon there. Like I couldn't play cannon there because okay, so I'm gonna explain that actually real quick. I couldn't play cannon there in that instance because I can only do 4 and 4, or the worst play was probably 4 and then 1, which is like Zeus and then uh cannon on the followers, which doesn't make sense. I don't even think I had Zeus in my opening before I played Gamatala. Did I? I did. Let's go back here a little bit. Okay, so yeah, so I should have just played it on that turn when I had like 2 inks like just sitting there. Or actually no, I just should have just did it when I played Fishbone Quill and just popped the followers, and I wouldn't have to be in a position where like I can't play it anymore, right? But yeah, this Trinity Box followers I actually quested 4 times. And I think that's yeah, can be your downfall. Cause like I had the out to Trinity Box followers, but I didn't do it. That's why it's like it's a misplay. And this guy plays another Queen's Castle. And my ass is shaking because I was like, I only have 1 character. Please give me a boom somewhere so I could pop this 1 castle, finish it off, and then this Tala just swings into the other castle. but they hire him here. Quest. I draw. I draw the Titans and a Tamatoa, which is like really, really good. Because if there's any time to draw Tamatoa, it's right now. Because my opponent's at 9, and you want to like put pressure on board. So right here, I think okay. So Cogsworth here, I'm pretty sure is a mistake. Because we are going into B prep turns. But I have 5 and 2, right? No, 5 and 3. What did I have here? I had 8 ink. Oh, 9. So I could do 5, 3, and I did 5, 3, and 1. Because I played Popsicle. So, what's my hand? I mean, it's definitely not another Hiram, right? Was the play just not to play Cogsworth here? I needed to out the castle. I definitely needed to out the castle. So, it is probably just 5, 3. The best play there was to play 5, 3. Okay. So, it's 1 and then 5 and then 3. Okay. Yeah. And after I committed, yeah, because the other play would be Tamatoa. Right, which is the 5-3 that I spent, which is Cogsworth and Rise of the Titans. But I chose to play those 2 cards instead of the 1 card, which is Amethyst, because we are going into be prepared turns. You just don't want to establish more cards on board, give him more value on be prepared, but honestly, that was just passable. I think I should just pass personally instead of playing Cogsworth. Or maybe not. Maybe it's not a mistake. I just feel like I don't want to give more value to his speed prep because he is going to be on 7. Whether he has it or not, it's just not a good play. But, right, as I said that, right, as I say that, I was like, okay, my opponent's at 12. I don't want to give him more cards or more lure, right? I like, honestly, I'm comfortable at 12. My opponent's at like 9 and then they quest into 12. I'm okay. But when they're at 12 and next turn they're at 15, that's where I kind of like shake a little bit because I think if my opponent's at uh 13, 14, I think I'm honestly like 14 is an okay spot. Like I'm not shaking at all. But if my opponent's at 14 going into like 17, 18, then obviously it's not a good it's a good sign. But 14, when your opponent's at 14, I think you're still fine because to find the line of like goat, bounce, goat, bounce, goat, bounce, it's like it doesn't happen as often as you wanted to, right? As a purple player. But 14 is like I'm okay. But 15, 16, I'm shaking. Cause that's like anything can happen from there. So that's why I wanted to out the Sisu and not allow like 2 more quests, right? And here I was just like, yeah, this is all the play I have. I didn't draw into the RGs or the Shmi to out speaking at undisputed. So I was like, alright, pray that Tamatoa lives. Just be prepped. So be prepped's probably out of the line. 14, man. It's crazy. Next turn he's at potentially +3 because Merlin quest or both Merlin quest and then Bounce Goat for 17. So right here I quest with Tamatoa. Okay, let's look at this hand. Quest with Tamatoa. Pray that I draw something that answers the goat. So now I have another card to go along with Tamatoa to out or to be off of the Tremaine and be King Undisputed. Just be off of that. So RGs and Shmi is actually pretty good for those things later game, like later in the game, right? So I do draw into them. Pretty sure we out the goat here. We don't allow the goat to come back to hand and play again. With Zeus, so we do Zeus. How do we deal with Merlin Rabbit though? Was there a world where you just go, how many do I have? I have 10 ink. I played one already because it pops, so I have 9, right? I have 9 to use. We can go 5 and 4, which is Grabber Sword and Hiram. And then we haven't inked that naturally, so we have 1 for cannon, so 5, 4, and 1. Right? 5, 4, and 1, which is 10. We haven't inked that, so we're supposed to be at 11. but we used one for Popsicle, which brings us to only 10 left. And Ink one 11, so 5, 4, and 1. It's only 10. Yeah, well, that's all we have. And Ink one for 11. I see. Okay. But how do we out the rabbit? I don't think we out the rabbit, so I think we just straight up Zeus this goat is the better play. We haven't Ink yet, so we go 4. You don't want to like play RGs and Shmi either. Even though you've seen 2 B preps already. Maybe that was a better play actually. So that this Merlin goes sideways, the Shmi and the RGs could just trade, right? What am I looking for? Dime. I see. So I was stuck between like, okay, so I was like, okay, we're in the middle of the game. The only way that I win here at this point in the game is to find Dime right now, right? Because like I'm not gonna win by just outing his characters turn per turn, right? I win by having Dime. So that's why I dug for more cards instead of like just I guess like sword cannon, which wasn't gonna do much anyways, which was gonna out it was gonna out the goat anyways for the with the Zeus. So I wanted to out the Zeus and then draw more cards, which still gets us out of B King and Tremaine range. You top that B prep. What a savage. So he was scared because like I was drawing. I have a whole new world here, I think. Yeah. Let's have a one drop. No one drop. Nice. So past we are 11, going to 12. We don't have another ramp, so you can only that time until a top deck is crazy. So we can do 8. Can't do math plus 4. Okay, so 12. So 8 1 3? 8 1 2? 8 1 2. Okay. Yep. And one open. Yep. So again, right? Just out of the BKU range. Just go. Was he holding goat? I think he was holding goat. What a monster this guy is. Okay, so here he bounces the goat. Okay, there's he takes this playback. I don't know what I said at that moment, but so he takes his back, right? And his logic is that I haven't a whole new world it yet. So if he takes the Merlin, if he bounces the Merlin back to his hand, he puts himself to 18, right? And then potentially 19, 20, like with just like a goat bounce next turn. But it's not guaranteed because I haven't wheeled yet, or haven't a whole new world yet. So the chances of me actually playing a whole new world here is pretty high, right? Because all I really need, honestly, is like I was looking for dime, right? So a whole new world gets me to dime, but a whole new world also gets rid of the Merlin goat that he has, and I think this is his third. So the chances of him seeing a fourth one is pretty low after that, because like unless this is the second one and he's looking for a third, but the chances that it's still like is pretty low to see your third copy or your fourth copy of the card, right? Even with a whole new world, like you're just always looking for that one goat. You're like, oh my god, like the one goat I didn't draw it. Like I lost because I didn't draw a goat, right? It happens way too many times. So yeah, the chance of you getting goat after a wheel is pretty low when you can just guarantee the goat in front of you, right? Excuse me. And then threaten lethal actually here. But the risk was that Maleficent could have drawn into an uninkable and then he couldn't play Flynn. But it doesn't matter because Maleficent plus Merlin and then a Merlin is game anyways. So right here you can see that I've been holding this grabber sword since like 7 years ago, and there's not a perfect time to play. But now because like, okay, another note is that I play one grabber sword only in the deck. And the reason for that is because like Gravity Sword is only good in one matchup, which is Green Steel, right? And other than that, it's okay against Ruby Amethyst. Actually, it's probably not that great unless you have like Gravity Sword Tinkerbell, which doesn't happen like often. But I didn't want to play Gravity Sword because it's only good in one matchup, and every other matchup it's just terrible. And drawing multiple of them is just like game ending. How many times have I lost when I have like two Gravity Swords in a whole new world and a dime or something like that, like a Mickey, and you're just like, dude, these are powerful cards, but I can't play all of them, you know? So I only play one Gravity Sword, but I replaced the other two Gravity Swords with two cannons. That's why I play essentially four cannons, which is like two cannons and then two booms, right? Which is like really get into like aggro matchups because the weakness of Sapphire Seal, like traditional lists, the weakness of the traditional list is aggro. So I teched in more for aggro, which is basically the cannons and then the RGs for this deck specifically. Um yeah, but I play one grabber sword only, and then I replace the two grabber swords, or supposedly the other two grabber swords with the cannons instead, because it's easier to just when you're breaking or when you open up with the cannons um versus grabber sword, you can actually play the grabber sword, right? And the same logic with fishbone quill, it's like you can just ink it because that's what everyone tells me. It's like just play multiple grabber sword because you can just ink it with quill. I'm like, that requires you to draw fishbone quill at any time in your life, but me, my luck, I don't get those cards. So right here, yeah, it's just Grabber Swords, Cannon, right? I put aside six things already because that's guaranteed was gonna happen. It was like Grabber Sword, Cannon, Cannon the Merlin, obviously to finish it off. That was guaranteed that was gonna happen. So I put six on the side, and I was like, I have six to play with afterwards, right? Which means I've actually dedicated or yeah decided that I'm not gonna dig for dime this turn. I have what left? I have 5-2. Because next turn I have 21. Yep. So that's the thing, right? He top deck to go anyways. So here's the misplay, right? So now we could all like go home and laugh about it and be like, oh, I lost top deck goat, he top deck goat, whatever. But in reality, you have to realize that the reason I'm in a losing position is because I actually allowed the Chernobog's followers right here in the beginning. Oh, ooh, way too far. So there was a time here where I could have played cannons instead of not here, earlier than that. Yep. So right here, the followers quested for one. There was no Flynn Rider on two, right? Clearly, there was no Flynn Rider on two, and he's not just gonna Flynn Rider on three here. That does not make sense because I'm on grab your sword turns after that. So playing Flynn Rider actually is not even a good play off curve, because I was thinking that he might off curve Flynn Rider here at some point, right? That's why I was holding the grabber sword, but or not grabber sword, cannon. But if I just cracked the followers with the cannon and didn't allow it to quest four times, um, I could have won this for sure, for sure. But we can all laugh about it in the end and say like, "Oh, you lost to goat. I top that goat." Like he could have just top decked that goat anyways, but he wasn't gonna win that because I, if you do the right play initially here, which is like that's why I keep emphasizing to people that, right now, the 1, 2, 3, 4 is probably the most important part of the game right now, right? Because in red blue, it's the jump ahead into Hiram, or the item to jump ahead into Hiram, or the item and to jump ahead into how far I'll go. Um, and then and obviously green steel. You guys, I don't have to tell you what green steel do in 1, 2, 3. This deck, right? Ruby Amethyst. Obviously, you don't need the one, but two is Flynn, three is Sisu, and four is Castle. Broken. Sapphire Steel item on 2 Shmi, on 3 Fishbone Quill or any type of ramp, 5 Cogsworth or what or Tinker or whatever, or 5 probably Hardcast Whole New World, but you can just like play Cogsworth next turn, Ink Whole New World, just like play like there's it's so important. Your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is so important, especially now. Like your 1, 2, 3, that 1, 2, 3 window is what makes or breaks the game, in my opinion. Same thing with Amber Steel, right? If you do play Amber Steel, um, you do 1, which is Cinder, 2, which is one drop character that could shift potentially, 3 shift, 4 aerial, find a whole new world. Same with the one that you shifted with earlier on turn 3. Like it's so crucial. Like it's the 1, 2, 3s that matters in this game as of now. That's the curve that you are trying to battle out, which results into your opening hand, right? If your opening hand is good enough to survive the 1, 2, 3, then you're in a good spot. So right here, I was in a good spot, but I was saving the cannon for an off curve Flynn Rider because that card quests for 3 for no reason, and I didn't have an like actually an out to that card other than the cannon. So if I play the cannon here to turn the box followers and he actually places it on off curve for no reason, then I can't out it. So, but even even if that makes sense, right? My opponent's still thinking that okay, on turn 5 or 6, or when I get to 6 inks, I'm just gonna grab restore the Flynn Rider anyways, which is probably what you should be thinking about if you're playing against Sapphire Steel, because like most Sapphire Steel do play 3 grabber swords, which is crazy to me. But instead, my ass played Popsicle. This is the turn I was talking about, yeah. So he shouldn't even be questing for 1. Clearly he doesn't have Flynn here. Turn 3 I was actually thinking about not even Sisu, but Maleficent. But this was like a clear indication that he doesn't have it, right? In turn 4, obviously he's not gonna play Flynn Rider. He's gonna play a castle, a rabbit, a goat, like King Undisputed. Like there's so much that he could play here that's not Flynn Rider. So if anything, last turn I could have actually Popsicle probably was a correct play last turn, honestly, right? This turn I could have actually played uh Cogsworth, Ink One, and then Cannon, but I wouldn't have any hands, so that doesn't make sense, right? But so this is the better play, obviously. So Flavisham and Cannon, like dude, bro, just cannon it. What are you waiting for? Like, who are you popping on for, especially? Like the rabbit, the goat. You know what I'm saying? So I could have just played the cannon here. So yeah, 2 quests from the Trinbox followers actually is the reason why I lost this game. Right. So yeah, that was just a way for me to like break down the games for you guys. We do, or I have a lot of videos of these. I just try to pick out like the best matches or the best um games that represents what both decks are trying to do, or what the deck that I'm trying to play is trying to do. In this scenario, I think I was able to like convey that, right? Or hopefully you understood what I was trying to say. But let me know what you guys think of the hand card system right here at the bottom right and the bottom left. So like it shows you in real time what's happening. So this Hiram's gonna draw 2 cards, right? Boom. Let it go, and then Cogsworth. And if I ink a card here, it'll also show you that I ink a card here. Yeah, and then the inks on top, because I find it hard to like count my opponents or count my ink while you're playing the game, right? So I have to pause and be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like I'm just gonna put it right here on the top. But I think it's better to represent the active ink and the overall ink and see like how much ink your opponent used already, but I don't know how to like incorporate that in this video. Yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I probably will slow down here the video because this is times 2. I think it's a mistake. I feel like I should have done times one, like normal speed, maybe 1.5. It depends on who's playing, honestly. But yeah. Hope you guys like the video. I will be posting more of these consistently, especially after Texas. I feel confident actually in Sapphire Steel. I've been playing this deck since set 2. I am definitely one of the first people that was on the Fishbone Kill Whole New World in set 2. Yeah. Hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And actually let me know in the feedback comment section if you guys like this format or not and what I can do to improve. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.